And then two, our white allies, is that don't allow this to be temporary. The worst thing that you can do is allow this to be temporary because then it's just going to be a slap in our face.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. We've made it halfway through the week, right? It's kind of something to celebrate. So we are really excited tonight. We're going to have Tara hey there, from Perfect Planning Events, and she also founded the Signature CEO Conference. And she just, because if, that's not enough, she also just founded the National Society of Black Wedding and Event Professionals. And so it's really awesome. She's, obviously very accomplished, and she's done so much, and she continues to do so much for the industry and for those obviously who are just like her and oftentimes don't get a seat at the table. And so we're really excited to have her on. I am just checking quick to see where she is. Hey there, Terica. And let's see here. All right. So she should be joining any second now. I don't know where you guys are all based. So exciting, right? I don't know where you guys are all based. This morning we had the worst thunderstorms that I've seen in forever. It was crazy. And I was like, I hope it stops before live, because you'd have this weird kind of background noise of thunder, and the internet went out and all of this other really fun, exciting stuff. So awesome. So she should be joining in just a second here. All right. So Florida, I think, has the worst luck, because I swear it's I remember every time that I've been in Florida, it's you have a storm, and then it's fine, and then it's oh, we have another storm again. It's you can never plan for anything. I don't know. It would drive me crazy if I was I cannot even imagine planning weddings in Florida, because it's is it going to storm? It is? It's not. And then it passes, or you're wait 5 more minutes. All right. Here we go. Tara should be joining as soon as let's see. Technology is always my friend. It's not really always my friend, clearly, because it says it's still waiting. Okay, come on. Okay, we're going to try this again. Come on, technology. Here we go. Is it working? Come on. I feel like I'm at a craps table or something. Come on. Hey, there we go.
How are you?
I don't know what happened to my... There we go. Good. I'm good.
Okay, I need to adjust my thing here because it looks like it's too high. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Trying not to let my phone fall. It looks like it's working. Okay. All right. There we go. The phone did not fall.
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful in yourself. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I was just saying, I'm listing off all the things that you've done, and it's 5 million things. I'm as if you don't have enough to do. And then on top of it, started the National Society for Black Wedding and Event. I always want to say it the way around, so I need a second to
It's okay.
Wedding first.
It's a lot.
I love it. So for people who don't know who you are, explain a little bit about how how the idea for the society came about, because I think it's so cool. And oh, let's see. I think she's clear now. It was they were saying that your connection was a little pixelated, but I think it's fine now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's clear on my side and you're clear, so I don't know.
Okay, awesome. Yes. So, so tell us a little bit about how it kind of came about. I mean, obviously there's been a lot going on lately, and what was it that you were like, this is the time right now that I need to do this?
Well, I think with all that is going on in the world right now, that was what made me to like, okay, now is definitely the time. But as I would say, being in this industry for almost 16 years, so I am an event planner. My company is called Perfect Planning Events, and I'm also the producer of the Signature CEO Conference. And with anything that arises or comes out of our creations that we do is because there is a void missing, right? And so with all these years of being in business, I've been a part of associations, I've been in networking groups, and there was always I'm the only person in the room, or I can count the number of people that look like me on maybe one hand or two hands,
Right.
and there's like 4 to 5 times as many people that are there.
Right.
And so as of late, just thinking about associations and how Black owned businesses still, as we can see, get left out on things that happen is that, you know what? There are the magazines that are out there that, that do not see us. There's the different networking events that are out there that do not see us. And then I was also thinking, like, what about the associations? I've been involved in them. I may not have been a member, but gone to their events and still the same thing. And so I've always thought that, why doesn't someone create this? Like, who can I talk to like do this? And so after you play that around in your head for so long, and especially with what has gone on within our world,
Right.
it's just like, why am I waiting for somebody else to do this? Do it yourself.
Yeah.
I have been a president of a wedding organization before. And so I do have the skills, not only from being just president, I worked my way up as being treasurer, vice president, and president. So I kind of know how associations and organizations work. That is a total of almost 10 years of, being in an organization. So when I knew I wanted to do this, I had to think very strategically about who I wanted to appoint to be my first founding board members. And not that, even the people that I hand selected, at first I was nervous because I was just like, oh my gosh, are they going to be ready to commit to this? Because I don't want somebody that's going to commit 100%. I need somebody that's going to commit 110% to this to make it what it needs to be. And so I reached out to them and they all said yes. And I was totally excited. And last week, we opened up registration and we have over 100 applications, and I know people are waiting to get their responses. Believe me, we are working and getting them. So we have over 100 applications in. We had over 500 people that expressed interest in the group. So we want that number to rise. We got over 100 applicants. We want all 500 plus to join us.
That's so cool. That's so great. I was on the webinar that you guys did talking about it, and it was just, I mean, first of all, the board members are fantastic. I mean, they're all in their own right.
Thank you.
Amazing. And I mean, just fantastic human beings, but fantastic wedding professionals with oodles of experience that I think anyone can learn from. And then I love everything that you guys are planning to do. I mean, obviously every association's different. And I think we all know associations where it's like you pay the dues and there's like all you get from it is like your one drink ticket for your one social event, and that's pretty much it. And you're like, that's a pretty expensive drink ticket. But I love all the things that you were listing. I mean, and the list was impressive and overwhelming, so I can only imagine, like, on your guys' plates, I mean, you need a really big plate. But so tell us a little bit about all the things that you have planned for the association, what members can expect, and what you're going to be doing kind of with everyone who joins.
Well, so many people have asked why does it have to be for Black business owners? Again, one, that void is there for us to have a home. And the easiest thing that I can relate it to is that think of a historically Black college and university. People gravitate towards those because, it makes you feel like home. And I will tell you that from myself graduating from a historically Black college and university, you not only make friends, you create family. And it is no joke. Every person that I know from college, I still stay in touch with them. And to the point that when I'm out at a grocery store or just driving, and people may see if I have on that paraphernalia or my license, I have the license tag, they will literally stop you and say, oh my goodness, they'll give out our little motto and stuff. And then after that, they want to talk to you. And so this is what this association is going to be, that you're building a family that no matter where you go, from DC to California, we even have applicants outside of the US. So if you are going in these different areas, that's what we want to happen.
That's so cool.
So not only are you building that network, that family, you're also going to get loads of education from us, which I am a firm believer in education. The person that I have in charge of education, we're going to bring it. We want to elevate and bring education, business education to our community that has been lacking, because it's not there for us. It's definitely not there. And people are scrambling to try and find out, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? When the PPP stuff came along, a lot of people could not qualify because they were not prepared and ready. Yeah. So we want to have our community prepared and ready for times like this, for just at any point in time. We want them to be prepared when Oprah comes knocking at the door and say, I want you to plan and execute an event for me. So we want to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row, and then also you have resources built around you that can help you also. So we're going to do those types of things. We're going to do dine-arounds where we're going to come to the major cities and talk with our members, get a sense of what it is that they're lacking within their own area. So we're going to be your advocates. We're going to be reaching out to these other platforms that have been ignoring us and say, hey, how can we partner? How can we bridge the gap? We're going to be reaching out to our allies and say, hey, this is what we have for you. Would you like to come on board to be a strategic partner with us? So we have a lot.
That's awesome. And it's so, honestly, when I was watching the webinar and you guys were like going through everything, I was just like, my head was spinning. I couldn't even imagine. I was like, that is so much. And it's so purposeful, which I think is very different than other associations that might just be, I don't know. It's like they say that they're, and they have educational things, or they have like get-togethers or networking or whatnot, but a lot of times it feels just kind of like another club. It doesn't really feel like it's doing anything. Like there's not a benefit, like an actual tangible benefit. And I love that that's the purpose of what you're doing. Like it's all about like things that you see on a regular basis, whether it's other professionals that you meet who are just starting out, or they come to you for help, or they attend your conference and they're hungry and they're needing things. I love that you're just willing and able to step up. That's so cool. And so tell us a little bit about your conference, because the Signature CEO Conference, obviously with everything that's going on, are you guys you're doing virtual this year?
Yeah. Yes. So unfortunately, we had to pivot to virtual, even though, so the first our original date was March. It was supposed to be the week when everything just like hit the fan. So we got put on pause. And I was like, oh, this is going to be temporary. It's not going to last that long. I
Right.
set a rescheduled date, and lo and behold, a month later, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is going to stick around. And so it is virtual. It's within the next 2 weeks. And actually, my kitchen is cluttered because I have all types of stuff in there trying to get ready. Because now all of the swag stuff that we had for the attendees
Uh-huh.
now has to be shipped. So what I had originally to put all their little things in a nice little container for their stuff, now I have to buy more boxes to ship all this stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
That's
But the Signature CEO Conference is definitely a conference where we talk about business acumen, business leadership. There is no creative talk. And again, I created the Signature CEO Conference because as years of experience going to conferences, no one was really talking about the fundamentals of business and beyond the fundamentals of business, because a person like me that's been in business for so long, I need a little bit more than the basics. I need for you to tell me how I can make more profit, how I can be more sustainable, how can this career that I've created can help me to retire,
yeah.
because I'm almost there. So, that's what we talk about. And a lot of conferences I've been to where speakers just get up there and glorify themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to glorify yourself. I can read about you
Right.
on the internet or your bio and stuff. I don't need you to get on stage and talk about you. I want to learn how I can be a successful business owner. And so this year is our 5th year. And next year, hopefully, we'll be able to meet in person.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good. And I mean, honestly, it's one of those things that, I mean, having a business requires that you constantly reinvent yourself, and pivoting to virtual, I think, is such a it's a great option. And I think people need it. I mean, they definitely need, I think, all of the things that you're talking about, and especially, you know, just the opportunity for them to get to that next level now more than ever, especially with
Mm-hmm.
2020 basically being rescheduled completely. So that's really good. That's awesome. And so now tell me a little bit about kind of your background, like how you started out, like what were some of the struggles? Because I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 years, you've been in it for 16. And I remember when, it was first starting, it was like you were the hot cake on the block if you had like a website. Oh my goodness, like you were so cool.
You
So
were doing it. You were doing it. And now I always tell people, I will say within the past 5 years, you have to up your game every day that you're breathing, because no matter if you're a photographer, wedding planner, cake baker, whatever, we're like Starbucks. There's one on every corner. So why should that person that's coming to get their latte from me, why should they come to only my Starbucks
right,
location,
right.
basically?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so starting out, I would say my biggest hiccup starting out was, where do I find people? How do I start networking? That was like my biggest thing. Now is, okay, I got to struggle with Instagram. I got to struggle with Pinterest. Now I got, 100 other or 2,000 other planners in the Washington, D.C. area that are now
Yeah.
taking up all these customers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a big divide.
And what do you think is the most important thing for like planners starting out or florists starting out, like when they're just starting? What do you like now, especially, what do you find for them to be the most beneficial for their business?
Definitely networking, getting yourself out there, network with your venues. If you don't network with anybody else, network with the venues, because I find a lot of my couples, even when they're hiring me for full service planning, they are going to the venues first. they're going there, scouting things out, trying to get a lay of the land. Like, is this the place where I want to be? And they're getting information from the venue, right? So these venues are talking to these couples first. And so you want that venue to have you at top of mind and be like, you know what? My friend Tara at Perfect Planning Events, you need to get in touch with her before you start planning anything, or even after they book. You know what? You need a planner.
Yeah.
This is the planner that you need to call. So definitely reach out to your venues. And then second, I would say reach out to your photographers. And the reason I say that is because your photographers, all this work you get ready to put into this event, your photographer is going to be the one to tell the story of your event afterwards. So those photos that you're going to receive need to be on point. So you need to be able to collaborate with photographers that are really, really good. There are some photographers that are just, and I'm sorry, I can't get all the terms right, but there are just some photographers that will shoot just people all day long. And they forget about all your details. And you're like, daggone it, I wasted all that time.
Right.
Then there's photographers that, I don't know, they're kind of like all over the place. You want that photographer that has a balance. They have a balance of shooting people and they know how to shoot details. And color is very, very important. Your photographer needs to be able to photograph all different shades of people. And that's where I would start. And then after that, well, first and foremost, educating yourself, definitely. So find out what fits for you, whether it's conferences, that one-on-one mentoring, educate all the time. That should be in your budget every single year, is education.
I think that's so important because I think a lot of vendors feel like, okay, I'm good at planning, or I'm organized, and so I can be a planner, or I'm really good at taking photos, so I can just be a wedding photographer. And instead of really thinking about how you're going to be educating yourself every year, because just like you said, it's like Starbucks. Like, there's another photographer, there's another florist just around the block, and what is making you different and unique and better? And if you don't educate yourself, everyone else who is educating themselves, they're already like 5 steps up from you. So you have to, for sure. That's good.
Most definitely.
Now, I loved one of the posts that you had posted on your Perfect Planning Instagram, and it was a letter that you had written right after kind of everything happened. And if you can just kind of summarize what it was that you said. I honestly, like, I was reading, I was like, yes, like every sentence I was like this, like right. And I think it's important. I think it's important for people to understand, one, what that perspective is and why it's important to listen. Because I think, for the first couple of weeks after George Floyd's death, everyone was like, yes, 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 we're listening. And now it's like starting kind of get back where people are like, okay, yeah, I'm listening. And then they like kind of go back to their normal everyday life like nothing ever happened. And so I think it's important for people to understand what the status quo has been and why that's harmful, why that needs to change, and what it is going forward that they need to do.
Yeah. Whew. So that letter that I created, again, went to another planner, a white planner, and they basically reached out to me asking they wanted to diversify their portfolio of other event professionals to be working with going forward. And that's all good and fine. I had no problems with it. But I also thought about the fact that this person, they've never been rude to me, but they never took the time to speak with me or hold a conversation with me like out in public. And so at first I was like, very pleased that they reached out to me. And then I paused and I said, I was like, oh, she reached out to me, but she never asked, like, at first, how are you doing? Or, trying to get to know me. And so I addressed that with them in the letter. And then just also pointing out what a day in the life of a person, myself, and basically a Black person is, that we're always walking into the room to see how many people in the room look like us. It is every day that Black people, we put on our armor to walk out the door because we're hit with something every single day. It can be something minute, but it's definitely not something that, our white counterparts have to experience. And when we get back home, that's like our safe space. Okay, we're done with the world. We can come here and we can just relax. But guess what? Tomorrow starts over.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we're so resilient as people that we get back up and we keep going and we keep moving. And I suggested to her, as far as now, I'm giving you these names. Please don't just send them an email to say, hey, I want to get to know you. Pick up the phone because you do not know them. And if I were to get that email from someone, I would just be like, okay, well, call me. Break the ice with that person. And then do not come out and ask them things about their business. Get to know them. If you want to be authentic, get to know them. It's almost like dating. You want to get to know that person first. Second date, still ask a few more questions. Third date, then you may do the little kiss on the cheek. Your kiss on the cheek at that point as a professional is now, okay, tell me about your business. That's the kiss on the cheek. Yeah. Where now you can move, what is it, second base, third base, or whatever when dating. That's how you can move about. But, get to authentically know people. And then two, our white allies, is that don't allow this to be temporary. The worst thing that you can do is allow this to be temporary, because then it's just going to be a slap in our face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're claiming and you've been posting all this Black Lives Matters, and then now you're just all of a sudden highlighting Black people on your sites and stuff, now it is time for you to walk this walk every single day. Because guess what? As Black individuals, we do it every single day. We have to know all about your culture. We have to know all about your world. Now it's time for you to sit back and open up some books, turn on the TV, the internet, whatever, learn about Black culture.
Yes. And I think there are so many things. I mean, and we've had a lot of different people on, and one of the things that I want to be able to do is highlight how many, no matter, it doesn't matter like if they're a florist or a planner, it doesn't, in the industry, how many people have had the same types of experiences, and it has nothing to do with their ability, their talent, has nothing to do with their clout of who they are. And it's something that, whether it's a microaggression or it's, full-blown racism that they've had to deal with, these are things that affect their daily lives, and things that most people who are white and in the wedding industry, because the wedding industry is very white, they don't have to think about when they go out to a wedding, when they drive home and have to take a different route, because the shortcut is going to be through kind of like a maybe not so great area that, they could be, they could be gunned down, they could be stopped, there's so many things that it's like, this is a daily occurrence, and how they have to operate their business, how they have to live their lives, that you don't have to. And so if you're not aware of that and how you're communicating, interacting with, networking, you can't be an ally because you don't know who you're being an ally to. So, I mean, I think it's so important. And I love the fact that you are willing and able to call out people in a loving way, but without watering it down, because I think it's something that's important for people to understand, especially if they're saying that they're listening now.
Yep. But I call people out no matter if it's about racism or anything else.
I love it. See, and that's where it's speaking truth is so important. It doesn't matter if you're talking about, the latest social media strategies, or if it doesn't do anyone any good if they're like, so what did you exactly mean by that? And that's kind of cryptic. And no, like you have to be straightforward about it. And it doesn't mean that you're being rude, and it doesn't mean that you're, being hurtful. If your intention is pure and you really want people to understand, speaking the truth only helps them get there faster. So that's,
Yes, most definitely. And if I'm confused, I'll come out to, can you explain that one more time? Because I really didn't get that.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. And so now if people want to join, can they still sign up for your Signature CEO conference on your website?
Yes.
Is there still openings for them to do that?
Yes, so the virtual, yes, you can. However, I do want to make a disclaimer about that. Some people are thinking that the virtual is like this very minute cost, but unfortunately, it cannot be. I did reduce it, but not to invade those that heavily invested into the conference for their original date. However, we will be releasing the dates for 2021 soon. So if you can't join us virtually, hang tight, because the 2021 dates are coming out for you to join us for that. So that way, you're investing in a full conference,
Right.
Hopefully, if Corona goes away.
Right. Well, yeah, let's hope so, because I don't know. I mean, a whole nother year. I can't even imagine. I don't even want to say it out loud, like to have to think about like risking.
She has to go away. She has to go away.
Far away, like Mars.
Very, very, very far away. She's almost like this other thing that invades women monthly that you just want to go away. That's how I think of her.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But yes, people can go to, if you want to learn more about the conference, just go to thesignatureceo.com. And then you can also follow us on Instagram, which is Signature CEO. And you'll find out all the details and all about the upcoming in-person conference that will be for 2021.
Awesome. That's so great. And now for the National Society of Black Wedding and Event Professionals, if people want to join, they're still able to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we will never cut off the application process for that. And I just want to make it clear that it's not just for planners, it's for photographers, cake bakers. If you touch the wedding and events industry, so it's not just weddings, if you plan social events, corporate events, if you touch any type of event, this association is for you. Fill out our application. We do have some pre-qualifiers that are on there. If you have questions, there's a button on there for you to email us and ask us your questions. And I will say for the application process, again, we're going through the first round that we have in there now and getting response letters and all that stuff out. So just give us a little time, but we will respond to you, let you know that we got your application and that we'll be in touch with you soon as far as like your status.
Awesome.
And no, this is an association. We're not going to be just a directory of just names. This is going to be an association that's going to be very impactful and give you a lot of things that's going to help you develop as a business owner. And we're not a magazine. So we're not here to showcase your lovely weddings and events. We're here to showcase the business owner, highlighting you, the person behind the business.
That's awesome. And one of the things from the webinar that I thought was so great is that if you are a Black person in the wedding or events space, but you don't own your own business, you can still join. So you don't have business, you can actually still
correct.
And if you're employed by like a larger company or a venue or something, and you want to be a part of the association, you can. And if you move jobs or maybe you go to another venue or something, your membership goes with you. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. That's great. Well, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I mean, I think it's important, and I think it's important for people to understand, one, that you're there, not just, I mean, clearly you have your own business, you have your own conference, you're doing all these other things, but that you care enough that you want to be able to help other Black-owned wedding and event professionals, and also the industry as a whole, because I think that when we all rise, it's only good for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. So thank you for that. Is there anything else that I forgot or that you want to talk about at the end?
I think we covered everything, but it'll be just like me. Oh my God, I forgot.
I love it. Thank you so much. Like everything that you said was spot on. And if you guys are just tuning in or you didn't hear the beginning, one of the things that Tara was talking about was really about how, education and investing in your business is what's so important, because if you don't separate yourself from every other Starbucks on every other corner, and if you're networking, if you don't treat it like dating and wait until, like the third date before you kiss them. I'm not saying that you should actually kiss each other, but
Right.
but metaphorically speaking, that you treat those relationships like a relationship that you care about, not just something that you're going to get something. I mean, it's not like a one night stand. You want to get a long-term relationship. And I think that, the metaphor is perfect, because it really is. It's about how do you get to know them as a human being so that you can connect. And it's okay. You don't have to connect with every single person you meet, but the ones that you're going to connect with, those are going to be the ones that you're really going to have these long-term relationships with, and it's going to diversify your network and your worldview. So
most definitely.
I love it. Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much.
This was great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you guys can find her on a myriad of different things. Make sure that they're all linked in the captions below. But you can find her her planning company, Perfect Planning Events. You can also find her conference at Signature CEO. And you can also find the National Society of Black Wedding and Event Professionals online as well. So hopefully you guys can join those. If you have other questions, feel free to DM Tara. She's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.